Hi, hello, howdy, and g'day. This is Matt, and my question for you today is how are you? And in this video, I would like to explain to you some different ways that we use, or some different words that we use to respond to this question in Australia. Now, what do we need to think about? We need to think about responding to the question, how are you, in ways that are A, polite, B, normal. So they're culturally appropriate. That's what people do. And three, of course, they're friendly. We want to have more and more conversations with people. How do you do that? You do that by being polite, friendly, and by using a variety of different words. Now, that's why I have up here lots of people on YouTube videos to get more views. They say, don't do this. So I've put this up as a bit of a joke for one of my students, but also to explain why English teachers say, don't just say fine. One, because it's boring, but also it doesn't encourage more conversation. So if you say, how are you? And someone says, fine, it doesn't make them want to talk to you more. And as an English language learner, that's what you want. You want people to talk to you more. Now, in one of my previous videos, I explained that in Australia and in other English-speaking countries, how are you and how are you doing, how are you going, they are greetings. And of course, my students and maybe people watching this video have asked me, well, how do I know when someone says, how are you? Is it a greeting or a question? Well, that's an important question, and I'm hoping that I can explain it to you, or I can explain how to recognize, how to know, is it a real question? So, first of all, let's listen to the way the question is asked. This is about the pronunciation. So, how are you? You is the standard pronunciation, but for people living in Australia, trying to understand Australians, especially Australians with a strong or broad accent, it won't be so easy. They'll say, hi, how are you? How are you? So this is the ya sound. How are you? And then they might add, how are you, mate? So how do we know if they are asking you a real question? First of all, we need to check the person who is talking to you. We need to check, are they making strong eye contact? Do they look interested in you and your answer? When you go to the supermarket, hello, how are you today? They're not really worried about how you're feeling or how your day was. Okay? So that's point number one. After somebody says, how are you? Do they ask another more meaningful question about yourself, or do they change the topic? Now, for example, if I'm walking my dog here, if I see somebody and they say, how are you? Nice day. I know we're not going to talk for very long because they've already started to talk about the weather. So I'll say, how are you back? And yes, beautiful, isn't it? Because we use a lot of these questions when we're talking to strangers or people we don't know very well. Yes, beautiful, isn't it? But if it's somebody you know or somebody who looks, as I said, they have strong eye contact and they look interested in you, then they'll ask you, oh, hi, hun, how are you? And then, oh, hun, I haven't seen you in ages. How's everything going? So they're asking for more. They really want to know how you are. In Australia, we can also ask these questions. How are you traveling? Now, this is not a question about your holiday. It's not a question about a trip. It just means, how are you? They can also say, are you all right? And this can be shortened, like many phrases in Australian English. You all right? Or, especially for young people, all good? How do we answer these questions? We just say, yes, I'm good, I'm doing well. Now let's have a look at some answers to the questions. So common responses, you all know, I'm fine. And you? And you can always use this. And you, how are you going? But if we want to be more positive, we can say, good, thank you. I'm good, thanks. I'm well, or I'm very well, or really well. Now, if you're going well, or you want to create a positive impression, or you're just happy, like my dog when he finds some empty ice cream containers, well, then he is great. He's fantastic, wonderful. I'm terrific. How are you? And if you're quite good, if you want to say everything's good, you can say I'm pretty good. I'm pretty well. Very, very commonly in Australia, we will say I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. So as I'm saying these, think about your pronunciation as well. Try to learn the phrase and try to learn to say them quickly. How are you? I'm not too bad. How are you going? I'm okay. I'm all right. Now, if you are not so good, you might say I'm surviving. This means I'm just getting by. Everything's okay, but I wish it was better. Now, how do we respond to the question, how are you, when you are not well, when everything's going quite badly? So you can explain exactly why. I'm quite busy. I'm quite tired. Oh, I'm quite tired of work at the moment. It's really busy. Now, you might be sick, tired, or not feeling very well. So I'm not very well. I'm not too well. So remember when you learn these or when you practice these, you probably already know them, but put the words together, not I'm not too well. Say, I'm not too well. I'm not very well. And if you haven't been too well for quite some time, then use the present perfect tense. I haven't been too well lately. If your health is not good, I'm sick, I'm unwell, ugh, I feel terrible. If you're very, very tired, you need some extra sleep, I am exhausted. Now you need to say it with feeling. I'm exhausted. And with your good friends or people you know well, you can tell them exactly how you feel. I'm upset. My teacher gave me too much homework. I'm sad. My teacher didn't give me enough homework. I'm lonely. I'm missing my English class. So these are all different ways that we can respond to this very common question. And they are ways that are different from just saying, I'm fine. So the important thing to remember as a person learning or improving your English is that you want to encourage more conversation. You want people to talk to you. You want to make friends. So when you're socializing in English, you need to remember to be polite and be positive. Look at that. That's somebody you want to talk to. Be positive. I'm fantastic. That sounds much better than I'm fine. I'm great. I'm terrific. How are you? And if you're in a new country, if you're practicing your English, always follow what other people do. If you hear people say, "G'day, mate," and you say it as a migrant or as a learner, that will make people laugh. It'll make them happy. And remember, in Australia, we laugh with or at our friends. That's perfectly normal as well. So, cheers, mates. And that means thank you or thank you very much in Australian English. I hope this helps, and I really hope over the next week that you start to use some different expressions when somebody asks you, how are you? So cheers, mates, and I'll see you next time.